Hello, John.
Hello, Kelly.
We are having fun doing police work.
Yes.
The weather is nice.
Yes.
We are both going to die someday.
Yes.
Have you heard about superfuneralplans.com?
No, I have not heard of superfuneralplans.com. I have been too busy learning how to talk naturally, like a real human.
Oh, well, superfuneralplans.com do the best deals for funerals, so that when you die, you can be buried and they will cover the costs.
Whoa. Kelly, that is some hot shit. I am so glad that you told me.
Yes, John, now, let us go back to being natural human creatures.
Yes, I agree.
Don't inconvenience your family with your demise. Call now or go on our website. I mean, you're retired, it's not like you're doing much else, is it? Previously on the MDickie show, Ross didn't have a clue.
Hi, I don't really know why I'm here.
And Kylie wants her man.
If you don't want to marry me, then screw you, right? If I can't have you, nobody can.
Now see the underwhelming conclusion on
I got a bottle of Milky in my fridge that I had a longer relationship with.
the MDickie show. So we had a little fight, and in all honesty, I do have a few issues with the way that this game is played. For a start, every time you jump onto or drop off of the stage, you can drop the item in your hand by accident, and it's really annoying, to be honest. I also find it weird that the women in this look like men, as there's only one body type, kinda like Mortal Kombat, the original. To be fair, the women in New Testament looked a lot more feminine due to their feminine stance, but in this, they look more like guys in drag. I guess this was fixed in later years, but man is it distracting in this one. There are also combat enhancers that happen randomly, like the heated objects that do a fuck ton of damage, and a pissed mode where I think your attacks are stronger from the looks of it. Combining the two would probably make you very effective. I was fortunate enough to beat up my partner and thus win the respect of the bloodthirsty audience. Then I proceeded to punch MDickie in the fucking face. Upon winning the fight, you get a newspaper clipping, kinda like Hitman Blood Money. I've never seen the result of an episode of Jeremy Kyle put in a newspaper before, but maybe that's just me and my archaic thinking. So the next one is about video game violence. How fitting. So this Wankstain is preaching about how modern day entertainment is, not to his standards. It's kind of topical at the moment. You know, given that the White House has thrown the entire game industry under a bus so that they can protect their precious guns. I do sympathise for pro-gun lobbyists, as it is a fucking awful case when someone who has no idea what the fuck they're talking about tries to force legislation onto something that you like to save the skin of the thing that they like. For what it's worth, it's just a pathetic scapegoat that people over 40 who don't want to take the blame for anything or work to fix anything resort to, as it doesn't affect their core selection of voters, i.e. old fuckers. Honestly, if we're going to take a look at violence right now, I'd say the worst thing is soap operas. A few months back in the farm simulation show Emmerdale, a character was hit square in the face with an acid attack as the end result of a long feud with another family. I personally found this storyline irresponsible. For a start, the character who receives the severe burns was barely affected. He had a bit of mozzarella and tomato on his face, but that was about it. In fact, it went within a few weeks because of course it did. If you compared that to an actual acid attack victim, you'll quickly see the damage done is nowhere near as superficial. In fact, it's fucking life ruining, and putting it right can cost thousands of dollars and take hundreds of hours. Of course, this character gets a scab on his face, and little else. He doesn't go blind or lose any hair or have his ear fused to his face, like, you know, an acid attack victim. And he actually doesn't look any worse than I do if I forget to put Zinnerit on my face for a week. The The storyline came out around the time that acid attacks were becoming a common solution to every gangster's problem. And I would like to take a moment to personally address anyone who has attempted to perform an acid attack or has successfully performed an acid attack by simply saying, kill yourself. Seriously, the world is much better off without you. Go into your shed and drink all of the acid you were planning on throwing into somebody's face. And don't stop until it's either all gone or you die. If you don't die, hang yourself or something because, well, fuck you. We don't need you anymore. Fuck off. Honestly, shit like this being handled so ineptly, where a character is merely mildly inconvenienced by something so damaging being broadcast before 9 PM and even being shown during daytime television when children of all ages can be exposed to it, is irresponsible and stupid, and it's far more damaging in my opinion than having Trevor waterboard a bloke with gasoline in an 18 rated game, which can only be viewed or legally owned by someone below the age of 18. A child could see Ross Barton getting acid thrown in his face by accident, by channel skipping after school, and the moral he'd learn is that it's no big deal, that the injuries are minimal at best, and the effects are really pretty short-lived. It's also worth adding that these are portrayed as real people. Again, comparing them to the criminals in Grand Theft Auto, they aren't portrayed as your everyday members of the general public, especially crazy characters like Trevor. They face consequences for their actions as well, which again is something that doesn't happen in these shows. Sure, it's not always the most realistic consequence, but there is at least cause and effect, as opposed to Emmerdale where characters can just literally get away with murder, kidnapping, arson, GBH, and whatever else they come up with, so long as it's plot convenient. That's just one show as well, by the way. There's at least 2 other big ones and several smaller soaps that have all done similar things at one point or another. Why don't we regulate them? Oh, because that would offend old people, the people who vote. If Emmerdale was on at 11 PM instead of 7 PM, like it fucking should be, Grandma wouldn't be able to stay up for it and she'd get mad and blame the ruddy government, and we can't have that. My point is that exposure to violence isn't exclusive to video games, and in all honesty, video games are limited in their portrayal of violence, due to graphical capabilities, as well as animation limitations. I mean, practical gore effects are always going to look a lot more real and a lot more horrendous to look at than, well, this. I'd also like to point out as well that some video games like Telltale's The Walking Dead actually show and teach its players how to be responsible gun owners.
These. First, don't be afraid of it. It's just a thing. Take it. But know where your finger is all the time, and don't put it on the trigger unless you want to hurt somebody.
Something that the NRA itself failed to do when it released this pathetic excuse of an app. I also find it funny that people say that these games train people. I've even heard the word virtual boot camp used. But I find it funny that, because the military actually tried to weaponize video games in the mid-2000s by giving a bunch of games away for free. The games were Area 51, The Suffering, and Rise and Fall Civilizations. Apparently, a game about conspiracies and how shitty the government and the army are is a great recruitment tool. Yeah, I don't get it either, but hey, they did give us Marilyn Manson in a pickle jar for free, so God bless you, USAF.
The endgame begins, Ethan Cole. Feast your eyes on this menagerie of decay and corruption. I am the bringer of death. This mechanical prison before you serves one purpose: to extract the virus from within me, used to corrupt your kind and mine. It is a potent weapon indeed.
Oddly enough though, this didn't seem to encourage many people to join the Air Force. It's almost like PC gamers aren't the best target for military recruitment. Who would have thunk it? Mind you, I think dropping a bunch of PC Master Race elitists into the Middle East, giving them a megaphone and encouraging them to talk about their PCs, might convince the terrorists to shoot themselves. They might have had a point, actually. Sorry, I went on a tangent there, but... well, there's not much to this game, so I might as well talk about related topics. So this exchange is kind of funny, as the dumb fuck says so many stupid things that it pisses off the gamer, and he attacks him, proving that video games don't turn us into killers, but idiotic uninformed opinions on them do. Unfortunately, this shit-sucking cum hoarder is the good guy in this scenario, so I have to help him win. I actually feel dirty after this fight. Again, this is another element of the moral choice aspect biting this game in the arse. It feels unnecessary to me, as this thing could have had some progression system that was either just 8 randomly generated fights where you pick the winner on startup, or you could have had a storyline like Shadow the Hedgehog. In that game you had multiple paths, and by picking the good and evil paths in each level, you went down a different path down the whole story. And you could mix and match and get different endings based on how devoted you were to either side. Basically, I think they could have done this a lot better. Coming up after the break, Transvestite Confessions. Wait, what? No! Oh, no, jeez. Can I not do this? Can I just... Driver 88 lost his friend to the other side.
You know, it's really scaring me. He's mentioning around like some sort of transvestite. At first I thought it was funny. I thought he was having a bit of a laugh. But it turns out he's taking it real serious, and that's kind of disturbing.
It doesn't have to be this way. I don't like where it's going. Can I back out, please? Winston has discovered his feminine side.
For all intents and purposes, I am a damn woman.
No, please, don't make me do this. I just...
Jesus Christ, it's even worse than I thought.
My show deserves better than this. Just let me walk away.
That is disgraceful behavior. We used to be great friends, great buddies. But, well, if you're gonna treat me like this, I'm gonna have to kick your ass.
See it on the MDickie show after the break. Oh, God.